One thing that quite often annoys me about traveling is that sometimes there are sites and then you go to see them and you have heard so much about them before that you have your expectations built up. And by the time you get there, you're like, oh, this is it. And that happens quite a lot in pretty much every country. And that could be because of the different perspectives people have, or sometimes just a commercial thing that they want tourists to come there. And that's why they build things up, even though it might be just a hole in the ground. Like I'm talking about that blue eye, which was in Albania, just a hole in the ground. So, in this episode, we are still talking about North Macedonia, and I will talk about one thing that stood up this hype and one thing that didn't. Stay tuned. My name is Sunny, and I wanted to create a podcast that would be like a campfire where you tell stories, share life experiences, sing songs, tell jokes, and come home with great vibes. That's why I created Campfire Corner. Welcome to Campfire Corner with Sunny. Are you the kind of person who chases sunrises and sunsets? I quite like people who chase sunrises and sunsets. Personally, being a lazy ass myself, I prefer sunsets to sunrises because for a sunrise photo, you have to actually get up way early in the morning and then go out in the dark because you have to walk out before the sun is up. And sometimes those spots where you can get a good sunrise photo, they are on a cliff or they need a bit of a hike. So you have to do all that hiking, climbing in the morning hours in cold and without the light. So I prefer sunsets because you can just have a nice lunch, lounge around, then go to that spot from where you can take a nice sunset picture and then just take that picture. So on this day 3 in North Macedonia, we were looking for that perfect sunset picture, but we had time to have lunch first. Hello again, this is Sunny, and I'm talking about North Macedonia again because this is the series for the North Macedonian trip. And I had left you at a point where we were in the market wandering around buying things, and then we went to get some money out of the ATM. After that, we started looking for lunch. So let me take you to the on location update for this and then tell you what we did, how we did, and which ones we enjoyed and which ones a little bit not so good. Here we go. Now that's the background that I have. This has been a really nice day. We had lunch, you could call it. I think it was a late lunch, about 3:30 or something, in the old town in a restaurant by the lake. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of that. I have it in the pictures. But it was a nice restaurant, and we had a table right by the lake. So Lake Ohrid, if you don't know. And it was nice food. We had a pizza, we had risotto. I had risotto. Well, we all shared everything. Garlic bread and other stuff. Trying to remember how much the bill was. It was something around 3,500 dinars. So yeah, that was really nice. And then after that, we walked through toward the beach. This beach is called Petposh, Petposh, and this is all today's. The credit goes to Surabhi because she had done the research as to what beach is nice, and then near the beach there was a church as well. So we came to the beach. I have to admit, I kind of lost patience with my friends' incessant selfie clicking. So I just walked along and found a lounger, got a drink for myself, and sat down. Generally, those loungers cost 300 dinars. I don't know for how many hours. But at that time, you could just sit and don't have to pay. So I just sat there and read my book. That was nice for a while, and then went up to the Church of Saint John the Theologian. So that's only about 5 minutes walk from this beach, and it's a church on a bit of a hill. It's gorgeous for sunset pictures, and again, the credit goes to Surabhi, who had done the research on that and looked at the pictures and then said, "This is where we want to be when the sun sets." So I went up and took a lot of pictures. It's a very nice church. It's not the general shape of a church, not like a box building with a steeple on top. It's a little bit more multiple levels. You will see the pictures on Instagram, so you can see how pretty it is. It's like a red brick building, very beautiful, and especially with the golden hour light. Oh, gorgeous! So lots of people were there taking pictures anyway. And then afterwards, we came down and sat on some of the loungers near the lake. By the lake, there's a bar here where you can buy a drink. So we had some drinks and just relaxed. And this is the background that we have. This whole area where the loungers were and we could just chill by the lake, that was a little bit of a walk from the main, like the town, and from the edge of the lake, the edge of the town. And this was across some little boardwalk. This boardwalk is like right on top of the water, on above the water, so it's not beside the water. And I had been a little bit apprehensive that when we come back, it will be after the sunset, and then it will be dark and a little bit scary because it's just like big lake and then mountain on one side. But I have to give credit to the Macedonians. They have thought about scared, like little cowardly tourists like me, and they had lights on over that boardwalk as well. You will see it in the picture, so don't forget to follow the Instagram account, which is Campfire Corner Podcast. And you'll see these from the pictures, how it looked in the day and how it looked in the night. But yeah, they were light. And when we were coming back through those small streets, we found this little artist who was playing violin in the night, just at a street corner. I think for tourists, I didn't see much crowd there, but still, who else would he be playing for? And he was playing so well, wonderfully well. So I had to take a recording. And it is at times like this that I wish that I was still doing vlogging rather than podcasting, because I can play you the sample that I recorded, but it doesn't convey with it the whole atmosphere, like it's like a late evening, about 7, 8 o'clock, somewhere around that time. And those small North Macedonian streets of the Ohrid little town, and then this guy playing that somewhere near a lamppost with dim lighting, and just like wonderful violin music. So I can try, but I cannot paint that picture. But if I were doing with the camera, I could have. So I'll see. Next time, I'll probably record it with my phone rather than with the recorder, and see if I can put that video on the Instagram. But yes, at least the least I can do is I can play you a sample of that violin. One thing I was glad of is that in Macedonia we were having to spend with cash pretty much. At least 70% of the time we were spending cash, because cash was accepted everywhere and cards only some places. And because of that, we had maybe not 70, maybe 60%, because some big restaurants and pubs, they took cards as well. But quite a lot of places in the old market and all that, you had to have cash, and taxi is definitely always cash. So because of that need for cash, I had some cash and I was able to drop some change into his violin case, which is otherwise sometimes when you are just spending with credit card and you don't have that. So I was happy that I had some cash because it was really good. Here's a sample, you can judge by. So the recording is not great obviously because it's just like a dictaphone and not a professional recording setup, but you'll get some idea. Here you go. After this violent thing, we walked around a little bit and then we were back in the main town by the lake still. And then we thought, what should we do? Should we go back and eat, not eat, eat here, what? And there were not that many options if you wanted to stay up late. So, unless you wanted to go to a club or pub, that's a different thing. But restaurants were gonna close about 10 o'clock, I think. So, we looked around and then saw where we can eat. There were quite a few there, and there was one where we had a few options for vegetarians. And one thing that this restaurant had, there was like an outside patio kind of seating where we sat, and they had these fire boxes, I would call them. Like it's like a not glass, I think, but some kind of perspex, some kind of transparent box in which they had a fire burning, and they could put it next to your table. It was at the table level in height, and then that would give you warmth in that little evening chill. I don't know how it worked because I'm guessing it should have a lot of smoke from that fire, but you would not see any smoke. So I'm guessing they must have some sort of a electric chimney or something like that built in inside, and there were lots of those, and they could leave them next to your table. So I've not taken a picture, but I've taken a video. So I'll try and post that on the Instagram account, and then you can see what that looked like. But it's something I've not seen before. I've seen fire in different ways, but not in this kind of like a firebox. It was interesting, and it was actually it could give you warmth. It was effective. This place was called Instinct Bar and Restaurant, and we had kind of a dinner there. I'll tell about that later in the on location thing. But one problem I want to talk about here is that there was a stray cat, and that freaked Surbi out. So she kind of did not even finish her dinner. She just walked out. More about that problem later. But yeah, so let's go to the on location update. Let me see, where were we last time? I've had an issue with the recorder, so that's why I'm trying to remember how much I had recorded last night, because after using it for so many years without deleting a single file, this little recorder got filled up last night. Yeah, I think we were on the lakeside having food. We're trying to find something nice, and then we found a restaurant. There were pretty much similar vegetarian options in every place. So we found one which was called Instinct Bar and Restaurant. I think there was something new, like a fried egg bread. That's what I had. It's kind of like a French toast, but instead of being sweet, it is savory, salty. It was all right. It was kind of nice. And then from there, we had to call the taxi to come back to the hotel, because the hotel is about 10 kilometers out of the city, out of the town center. And when we called the taxi driver who had dropped us there, he had given us his card, and he has a deal with the hotel, so he gives us a discount. So he had charged us 400 dinars. And when we called him, he picked up the phone. That was a good thing. But then he said, like, I finished driving for today, because it was about 11 o'clock that we were calling him. Not a big problem, because there was a taxi right there. We talked to him and he said 500 dinars. So, yeah, we took that one. Came back to the hotel, then nothing more to do there. And this morning I got up about before 6, because I went to bed about midnight, which was a nice long sleep. And then I have just done my normal writing kind of stuff and then getting ready. So now is 9:34. We were supposed to leave at 9 o'clock. The car has been waiting since, I think, 8:45. And this car has come from Skopje for us, the same taxi service. I messaged him yesterday. The guy's name is Robert. I messaged him on Viber, which is a messaging app, and asked him if we can book a taxi. He said sure, and then we haggled a little bit. Haggle is kind of a strong word for it. I got a 200 dinar discount. That's about it. But it was good to haggle over messaging, and the guy has a sense of humor as well, so sometimes he sends funny stuff. But yeah, so the car has been waiting, driver has been waiting. I'm done. I'm waiting. That's why I'm doing the update. And my friends are finishing their breakfast in the hotel breakfast room. Hopefully, we will be off to the races very soon. Plan for today is that we will go from here, stop at Matka Canyon, and at Matka Canyon we will spend maybe 2-3 hours, take a boat ride. Shelby wants to see the underwater cave. I'm not that keen on caves or underwater things, so I might opt out of that, but I'll go for the boat ride for sure. And obviously a few hundred pictures of the Matka Canyon. It's supposed to be one of the very most beautiful places around Skopje. Skopje, I think they call it Skopje. I keep saying Skopje, which is not right. And then from there, the same taxi will take us forward to Skopje airport, and we have a flight booked for 8:30. It's about a 3 hours and 40 minutes flight in this direction. We did the check-in yesterday. Yeah, I did a check-in last night. It's Wizz Air, and I was really pissed off when I was checking in because they did not give me a boarding pass. They said you need to have the travel documents checked at the check-in counter, otherwise you won't get a boarding pass and you might be denied boarding. And here's the thing I don't understand. I have a British passport, as the whole world knows, and I'm going back to London, and my passport details are in the Wizz Air system. So why the hell do I need to get a special travel documents must be checked instruction? Do they think that they might not let a British citizen in? I'm very annoyed about it, as you can tell. We'll see. Figure that out when we get there. I'm sure the answer I'll get at the check-in counter will be, oh, sorry, sir, we don't know. It's just the system sometimes does it. That's it. People find it very convenient to blame computers, isn't it? And this morning when we checked out, that time also it took a long time, because by long time I mean like maybe 10 minutes or something, because the system was slow. So yeah, there we go. Still waiting. I'll update later. One thing I want to add about the recorder is that it pays to be prepared. This recorder has a weird system where you have to have different folders. So if one folder fills up, even if there is a space on the device itself, you can't record anymore. So what I do is when I connect it to the computer, I just keep creating a few more extra folders by numbers, like folder 6, folder 7. And last night when the memory completely got filled up, then I connected it to my phone because I had all the necessary adapters, and then deleted old data, like an old folder from, I think, maybe 18, 20 years ago. I don't know. It could not be 20 years, but I had this stuff there from at least 10, 15 years old. So I've had this recorder for so long, I can't believe it. But yeah, so this morning it doesn't show me any files from before, but I can record new stuff and then that plays fine. And also, I did copy all the new stuff onto my Google Drive from this when I had it connected to the phone. So everything is safe because these things I cannot replicate without a lot of hassle. So I like to save my data. And now finally the VIP guests are here. Hello VIP guests. Are you ready to go?
No, I don't want to leave.
So why did you call the taxi? Okay, this is gonna get ugly. I'm gonna sign off now. I have to wrap up here for today, but there are some more exciting things coming for this podcast in the future episodes. So keep listening, stay tuned. Thank you very much for listening today. I don't have any recommendations. I've run out of recommendations for North Macedonia other than the country in general. And if you go there, definitely go to Lake Ohrid and all the places that I've mentioned in this episode. But other than that, I don't have any other recommendations. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful week. Bye bye.